Hello friends, my name is Vimal Menon and welcome back to my channel. In our previous tutorial, we have learned about one of the important concept of what is the difference between AI, agents and workflow. And we also covered what are tokens. Now I will continue further on these important AI terms that you might have heard very frequently, but you might want to know what it means, right? So the very first thing that we will talk about is the temperature. So in terms of AI, temperature refers to the term wherein you set a value in an LLM wherein you say like how creative you want your answers to be or response to be. So generally you can set the temperature from 0 to 0.1, and if you keep the temperature at a very high level, it means that you will get bit creative answer, and if you kept the temperature at 0, you will get the answers or response which are more common. So the whole idea of using the temperature is to have some sort of variation in the response, and if you feel that your response should not be generic to what the things that it have learned, then you might set the temperature to a higher level, right? So the only values available, the only accepted values are till 0 to 0.1 that I have seen till now, and I have not seen any other option where you can set the temperature value more than that. Let me see if I can demonstrate that in anywhere on the screen. Give me a minute. Unfortunately, I don't have any tools where I can show how you can change the temperature, but you have to take a word from me that there is, when you do stuff programmatically, there is an option to set the temperature, and when you set the temperature at a higher level, there you will get more creative answer. But let me try something in OpenRoute. Maybe there is something in the API or activity. Okay, unfortunately, I cannot show you anywhere in this page or anywhere that can be viewed easily. But you might come across these terms called as temperature or term called as temperature, and the temperature means the creativity of the response that is being sent out, right? So if you set the temperature at a higher level, it means that you will get more creative answer, and if you set the temperature at a lower level, it means that you will be getting more generic answer. So moving on, we have something called as context. So context is again another important things to understand. uh, it actually referred to something where you send the information to LLM so that they can generate appropriate response, right? So the thing about the AI is that they are pre-trained. It means that uh, they have some already fed information which they can use to process the information. But sometimes some information they don't have, right? And for sending that information, we can use something called as context, and context provide additional information to the AI for processing. So in order to understand that, we can go to this deep route open router website, sorry, and this open router, in the open router website, we can see how much context. If you look for any of the AI or LLM, let's say if I use DeepSeek. So DeepSeek has a context size of 163,000 or 164,000 around context size, and this is the context size or the information size that can be fed to this AI while retrieving the information. So it's very necessary that you stay within the context size, because if you feed more higher values than the context size, then it might lead to false information, or it might lead to giving the wrong information, right? So the context size is very important while giving the response, or while sending out information to AI, right? So the context is again given on the input token. So what do I mean by that is, so let's say we ask LLM some questions like what is my name? So I'm going to DeepSeek again. So if I ask what is my name, it won't be able to answer this question, because DeepSeek doesn't know who I am, or who is the user who is using this, right? We will see that information. We'll see that it won't be able to answer that question. Okay, so it is able to get that information through my login. That's very smart. But I think if I keep it, yeah, so it is able to get the information through my login. That is very smart. But technically, AI doesn't have any of those information by default, right? So what is my name? I think DeepSeek is slow today, but that's fine. Even this would be able to retrieve the information. Okay, so currently they are using something called as tools, which kind of get the information from the login page, or from where I'm logged in, and it is able to get that information, right? But technically AI shouldn't be able to get the information by itself, right? So if I write what is my name, I think we already tried it over here, and this one is not working. Let me try this is another way of chatting with LLM. So I'm using a website called as Open Router, and Open Router allow you to chat with different LLM to see how they generate the response, and if you're satisfied, you can top up your account, and you will be able to use a particular chat model, right, or particular model, right? So this is not a paid promotion, this is just that I use very often. So if I ask over here, what is my name, you will see that it won't be able to answer the question. See, it says that the DeepSeek doesn't have, or DeepSeek AI model doesn't have the information regarding your personal information like name or anything like that, so it's not able to answer it. But this is a chat memory. Okay, so if I try to give a context, right? So how generally context work is, we provide something like context, and below the context you can do something like this: my name is Vimal Menon. I am from Hong Kong, and I making videos on YouTube channel for AI terms. So this is the context. Now if I ask what is my name and what I am doing, it will be able to answer the information, right? So currently it says that based on your conversation, your name is Vimal Menon, you are from Hong Kong, and you're creating videos on explaining AI terms, right? So you could see that you can give some additional information about yourself or anything for that matter for the AI to process and give you more enhanced answer, right? So you might ask, no one is going to do it like this, right? No one is going to write a context and give the information and then you expect the AI to give an answer. So what is the point of using this context here, right? So this generally comes in handy when you're using something called as tool calling, which we are going to understand in a minute. So what happens is whenever you ask an AI agent to do some AI for a question, it might have access to some tools, and these tools would actually call this AI would actually call tools and get the information from the tools, and these tools provide the information in this context window, and using this context window, AI would be able to generate the answer, right? So this is generally seen more with the tools, and there is a concept called as RAGs, wherein you kind of get the answer through the documents, wherein you can provide the document and it kind of provide the context of the document for the answers to be processed. So this kind of scenarios are more generally seen with tools and RAGs, right? So think of context like a place where you provide additional information, but this context information are not always given to the AI by the user, but they are generally given through some forms called as tools, or maybe by the use of RAGs. They are given the context of that, the context for the response that need to be generated, right? And speaking on context, every model has a context length, and this is the same length that we see for let me go back to the models and let me go back to the DeepSeek again. So you would see that over here it says 16163,840 context size. So you can provide this much context for this LLM, and this context is in tokens, right? So this much tokens can be provided to this LLM, and if you go over and above it, there is a possibility that it might hallucinate and it might not be able to give proper response, right? So DeepSeek has this is like a very generous context size. If we go to some other bigger model like Grok or anything like that, you might see that they might have a bigger context size. So they have a context size of around 2 million, which is very big, and you can literally put like a lot of information over there before it go out of context size, right? So generally, if you see, like when you have these sessions over here, generally they are stored as a context for the AI to answer, right? For the next answer to be response. So that's why many a time when you write something in the AI, you might think that it is able to remember the past conversation because of the fact that it might be given as a context, or it might be using the chat history to understand the things, right? So that's a very simple explanation of context. We will later see about the context maybe while when we are doing some project, but for now this is what you need to understand, right? The other thing that we kind of very frequently hear is about hallucination. Hallucination refers to the thing when the AI kind of start giving wrong answers, or maybe try to make up something out of what is being provided, right? So many a time what happen is AI kind of don't give the right answer. They kind of go out of what the information has been given, and they give the answers to the user in a very lot of in a very confident way, right? Which might wherein user might think that the information that is provided is correct, but that is not generally correct. That is all wrong information, and this is where we say AI is hallucinating, wherein it means that it is starting to give the wrong answers, even though the answer look very promising or very correct, right? So this generally happen when your context size goes very big. It might be possible that it might start to hallucinate, and hallucination is not just caused by the context size. There are many other factors where it can hallucinate, wherein the question that you have framed is not correct. So it might interpret another way, and then it might take another context, and it might give a wrong response, right? So that's about hallucination. The other thing that you want to understand, or what makes an AI and an agent different, is something called as tool calling or function calling, right? So many of us now understand what are AI and what are agents and what are workflow. So what makes an AI and agent is something called as tool calling, right? So let me explain you in very simple terms. Like if I ask DeepSeek, like what is time now in Hong Kong? So I know this is not sometimes it's able to answer even with the search off, but if I turn the search off, technically it's not supposed to answer the question, because it doesn't have any history, it doesn't have any current time data, it only work on historical data, right? So currently this thing is not working properly. Let me go back to open router and let me ask the same question here. So if I go over chat and if I ask, see, currently I have turned the search off, and when I ask this information, so this is wrong. I'm currently in Hong Kong, and it's, let me see if I can get my clock here. So it is around 5:30 here in Hong Kong, and it is giving all the information wrong here, saying that it is 10th October 2024, wherein it is 30th of March 2026, right? So see, this is one of the classic example of hallucination, wherein it kind of gave the wrong answer very confidently, thinking that this is the correct answer. So even if someone looks at this, and they might think that this is the correct answer, but this is not the case. So moving on, or moving back to the tools, if I enable the search, and if I maybe try again, it might give the right answer. So let me try again. So it is thinking right now. So let me explain why this might be able to give a right response, because of the fact that it is I think it is still giving wrong answer. Maybe it didn't find any relevant document that gives the right answer. But here what it does is, like, it has this feature called as search on. It means that it is able to search the internet and it is able to find the answer and it is able to give the response, right? So this enable search feature, or where it's able to connect to the internet, is happening because of something called as tool calling or function calling. So let me explain you how this works. So AI is generally is working on historical information, and it doesn't have any updated information. So when a user asks what is the current time, AI would not be able to answer that based on the historical information, right? So it checks if it need to call any tool, or if it have access to tool or tools that it can use to get the information, right? So there can be like a internet search tool, or it can be some other tools, maybe something to do with making a call to an API. Or you can always create a tool as well, that tool that can connect to the system. So this is not something which is provided out of box. This is something you have to do it by yourself, or you might have to make this tool work on yourself. And trust me, it's not that difficult. I'll be showing you how to do that later maybe. So by using this tool, AI will decide like how to get the current information, and AI has this sort of intelligence where it knows which tool to call to get what information, right? So this AI think that if they can get the current information through internet, it will search the internet. If it thinks that it has to make a call to an API, it will make a call to an API so that it can find the current time. Or if it thinks that the best option would be to check the system, it can check the system and it can get the information, right? So currently with the example that I have shown before, it has searched the internet and it tried to find the answers for the current time in Hong Kong. That's why you could see that over here there are two references which it tried to use to get the current data and current date and time, right? But I think the information turned out to be wrong, or it was not passed correctly, and that's why it was not able to give the correct answer maybe, right? So that's the whole idea of tool. And then so moving on, it goes from the AI to user, and from the user to AI, and from AI to tools, and from the tools it get the response back to the AI, and then it generates the answer, right? So this is the primary difference between an AI and agents. AI doesn't have any access to any of the tools, and it kind of makes it dumb, or make it in a way that it only works on the internal information, whereas agents would have access to a lot of tools which make them more powerful, wherein they can perform an action or they can do a lot of stuff which the user want to do, right? So this is what makes the AI and agent different, and that's why people prefer to use agent over AI, because AI cannot do a lot of stuff that we want them to do. They can only rely on internal information, right? So I hope this is very clear. I thought maybe I'll cover more, but I think with the way it's going, with the explanation I have to provide, is taking longer. So we will stop this for now. We'll cover this much for now. Later we'll be covering more concept like what are multimodals, what are the size, and how to write a better prompts and other stuff. But for now, I'll stop it. I'll be covering this much. For now, this is it for now. And if you have any questions, please do let me know. And thanks a lot for watching, and have a great day.